Every property tells a story of ambition, intention, and occasionally of compromise. But behind every story, there's a decision. And not all decisions are as sound as they first appear. This is the Deal Room by Nest, where we dig beyond the surface to understand what makes a deal worth it. Property has a curious way of persuading people, sometimes through space, sometimes through aspirations, and sometimes simply through the feeling of arrival. But in Uganda's property market, where large homes increasingly signal success, the real question is rarely whether a house looks impressive. It's whether the decisions behind it actually make sense. Here in Kyambogo sits a 7-bedroom contemporary residence positioned on private mile land with the sort of features that immediately attract attention. 2 sitting rooms, all bedrooms self-contained, a master suite with its own terrace, a rooftop level with a gym, a sauna, a steam bath, and separate askari quarters. At 1.8 billion shillings, this is not simply a house, it's a statement. But statements in property can be expensive things. And what becomes interesting is not merely the scale of the house, but the ambition behind it, the ceiling heights, the openness, the layered living spaces, all suggest a house designed to create presence. And yet, beneath the presence lies a more practical question. What does it actually take to sustain a property like this? This is the main living area, and the first thing you notice is the space. But space alone is not enough. It's how it connects to light, to movement, to the rest of the house. In a house like this, the living room does a lot of work. It's where people gather. It's where the house actually feels alive. So the question is it actually functioning or functional? Or is it just a large space? And from here, the house begins to open up. The staircase itself feels deliberately positioned, almost as a transition between structure and experience. And as the spaces begin to connect, you start to understand what this hall is trying to achieve. A greater sense of openness, flow, and light. The kitchen continues that same language, contemporary, minimal, and closely connected to the main living area. There's a strong sense that these spaces are designed to feel shared, open, and social. And perhaps that's what stands out most. Not simply the size, but the atmosphere. The natural light, the continuity between spaces and the next, and increasingly that's become an important part of the modern residential design. But of course, with homes at this scale, the real conversation often lies beyond the aesthetics. These are marble stairs, and materials like this quite quickly change the cost of a building. not just in installation, but in long-term care as well. Marble is always a statement, but it is also a decision. Once you make this decision, then you've set a standard, and the rest of the house has to match. Standing here in a space like this, you begin to see something really important. This is the master bedroom. The ceilings are high, the lighting fittings are almost done, and you can see the wardrobe is almost done as well. At this point of the construction, it becomes more than just concrete and walls, and it becomes structure or decisions. And for many buyers, this is where the real problem begins. It's finishings, it's wardrobes, it's TV stands, it's tiling, it's lighting. This is where budgets become stretched. Just nearby, next to the houses that we just looked at, there's a pool, a bar, and a small leisure complex being constructed. You see, which immediately begins to show you how this neighborhood can be experienced. And perhaps what becomes interesting is that this home is part of a much broader movement. Across Kampala and increasingly across Uganda, we are beginning to see a new generation of residential developments, homes with greater openness, more contemporary design, and a stronger emphasis on lifestyle. Spaces designed not simply to function, but to create experience. And in many ways, that reflects changing aspirations, a growing appreciation for comfort, privacy, and modern living. Of course, with projects at this scale, there are always decisions still being refined, finishes being completed, and details being brought together. Most expensive houses are often bought emotionally. People see size, see status, and assume it's a good decision. But at 1.8 billion shillings, emotion is not enough. Over the coming weeks, we'll continue exploring homes like these, looking at the ideas behind them, the design choices, and the evolving character of Uganda's residential market. This is The Day Room by Nest.